Begin with a roll call. Director Bill Friebel.
Here.
Director Bob Lux is here. Director Donna McAleer.
Here.
Director Paul Shu is on a family business in Indiana. Director Dale Walker is here. Good. We have a quorum. We have an agenda. We can have a meeting. Okay, we will begin with the invocation and the pledges of allegiance. Heavenly Father, we come to you today as an assembled body. We humbly request that you bless our meeting, our community, and our nation. Help us to work diligently, always for the common good and in the best interest of those who we have been elected to represent. Guide us to be insightful and prudent in our intentions, visions, plans, deliberations, decisions, and their fulfillment. Work through us to provide a spirit of welcome to all in attendance, to engage in respectful and thoughtful dialogue and discussion with understanding, wisdom, and humility. Amen.
Amen.
If you wish, prior to reciting the pledges of allegiance, please take an additional moment of silent prayer or additional reflection in the manner of your preference. Amen. Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pledge to the Texas flag.
On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay. Whoops, where'd Shelley go? Apparently there's no comments from the public this morning. Karen? Okay. Consider an act on request for adjustments or relief from specific charges imposed by the district. Deputy General Manager. No room today. Thank you. Thanks for your help on that other matter. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, we are now to the consent agenda, items 5 through 8. Pages 1 through, I guess, 15, there's marked. Thank you. Yes, we'll take care of that later. Thank you and your staff, Chidi, for all the hard work that you do in keeping us current on tax collection. Any
A motion to approve?
motion to approve? We have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have discussion on this matter. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, now we get to item number 9, review the district's draft fiscal year 2025, 2026 operating budget and recommended water rate structure. General Manager Peterson, please.
All right. Should have 2 documents, one, a one-pager with front and back, and then also the budget itself. What we did, if you may notice from prior years, we changed the format that you're seeing here. Essentially removing the month-to-month summary and made room for a notes section that allows us to you to read this and kind of follow along as you go with the notes right there, so you don't have to go back and forth from the other reports. So there's a couple of typos we're aware of, and we'll clean those up for the final budget. But I'd say probably the biggest thing to focus on is the back page and some significant changes on purchase services. Keep in mind, purchase services are the items that we handle for you day in, day out. Water, sewer, and drainage, repair, maintenance, breaks, repair projects, things like that. We completed our ditch evaluation about 3-4 weeks ago, probably 3 weeks ago now, just in time to be able to at least put some budget numbers together. We evaluated, and I'll turn your attention to this map. And then if there is a brief summary that went with it, there's copies right there on the table if you hadn't. Didn't you know?
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yes.
So you grab a letter, please.
Thank you.
And then that other sheet as well. That's more of the
I
time.
can see that.
Thank you very much.
There will be a complete report and the items will be put into a project plan, but for the purposes of time and just trying to get through it all, wanted to at least have something to look at as we went through the budget. So we have every dot on here is an asset that we collected. It could be a pipe, a ditch, a siltation point, overgrowth of trees, could be a interceptor piping, interceptor failure, sinkhole, storm sewer pipe, all the above, drop structures and other structures as well. So that's what you see. So you see gray, green, yellow, and red. We're probably going to change the color up because the way that we rated these is 0 is just we collected the asset. 1 is there's an issue, but it's future off. It's more of a point of interest that we're going to need to keep a lookout for. And 2 is there's a greater impact there, but it's maybe in the next few years that we'll have to monitor a little closer. And then 3 is something that we deem to be immediate. There's the pipe is disintegrated, or there's a sinkhole, something significant like that, or there's more immediate risk of safety or operation of the piping itself. So as you can see, and there's about 1,700 asset points across this whole map. We'll probably do a green, yellow, orange, red. We'll probably and put the green, because the greens don't mean it's a good thing. Those are ones right now on this map. So the resultant of that evaluation, which again, we'll have a full picture for every dot you see there, we actually have multiple pictures of the existing condition. So we'll kind of extract some of that stuff and put it in a report for each of the muds. But as you can see on the summary of storm sewer outfalls, we identified 2 number 3s and then 6 backslope interceptors. There's about 6 of those, and then about 2,200 square linear feet of ditches that need to be that the vegetative overgrowth needs to be kind of pushed back and cut or pruned. We're proposing to accomplish this work in 2 ways. One, some of the heavier lift, bigger stuff, we're going to need to contract out. We do that every day. We have some go-to contractors that we use for repair maintenance things. But we proposed last week to the trustees to build a ditch crew and some proposed equipment that we would purchase in order to put a ditch crew full-time on the ditches to address a lot of this stuff, working with our contractor and our crews we'll be systematically going through all these items that you see here on this summary. And then going forward, once we've kind of gotten over that hump, that we'll put in essentially a long-term maintenance program where we'll go and essentially review, assess the ditches once or twice a year, plus immediately after any major storm event. And then we can implement our crews to address whatever issues that we have or see. So that'll kind of be the long-term ongoing. But for this budget, the numbers that you see here, which are significant increases from where we were at least, is in the tan area, large ditch repair 5300.12. And then let's see, I guess that's the main item. You didn't have much storm survey, two of them. So that's in the 5300.14. So those were the big changes. I did catch a typo that we'll address it for the final budget, but on that water service maintenance 5300.06, it says 0. That will likely be around $25,000.
Okay.
If nothing else, we'll at least refine that to be accurate. It won't be 0.
Right.
Water system maintenance,
Water service maintenance.
water service maintenance, okay. You said 25K?
It may be a little less. I just gotta go look. I know that we put the meters in there this year. If you look at prior years, it's 50. It's very small. So it'll probably be a pretty small number. I just gotta go back through our spreadsheets and look at it.
So Eric, you mentioned you're going to be hiring people to handle the large ditch repair permanently. Okay, how many people are you anticipating?
We budgeted to the trustees for 4. So whether that's a 3-man crew or 4-man crew, that will be determined, but we budgeted for 4.
Okay, what's the capital outlay for the equipment?
It's around 160,000. That was a mini excavator, skid steer, chipper, trailer and truck. And then the 4 individuals would be a lead operator, equipment operator, and then 3 level 1, C&D level 1s, we call them, electrical distribution, 1 maybe a level 2 to run the equipment.
So just out of curiosity, once this is done and you're done with your priorities 2s and 3s, will they be able to, you're going to be able to keep them busy?
Yes.
Crew?
Yes. Yeah, I think the ongoing maintenance alone, after that, well, they may cross-train with some other stuff along the way on the water and sewer side of things, when the heavy lift gets done, but I think that'll take probably at least a year, if not longer, just to even get to that point.
Okay.
And again, this equipment that we're proposing would not allow us to do some of the heavier work, so we're still gonna need to contract that out. But as much as we can do, we're gonna do, keep them busy.
I'm just curious, is there any significance to that 2,105,000 in
Oh,
red
this one in red.
Well, I'm sorry, where are you?
on here?
Yeah.
Right there, on top of the budget column, 2025. 2026. It's a surplus
It's.
from the
it's-
front page.
That came, so just note, to see if it changed, chance.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. Yeah,
Oh, it's from the previous page.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just a carryover.
Right, right.
So it doesn't really belong here.
Just a reminder, I guess.
So I know it changed.
Okay, thanks.
You're at 17.3. Oh, yeah, sorry, 8.1 million.
So this would result in a 17-month reserve at about 8 million and change.
The interest rate calculation at 4,800, is that conservative, given that anticipating interest rates to come down?
Oh, the
Significantly.
interest revenue.
Yeah, interest revenue.
Yeah, budget at 4, could be, usually try to be conservative.
Further questions? mean, I think the bottom line or the punchline to me is that you're proposing a reduction in
The budget.
tax rate, 13 to 12.
Is that,
Yeah, the interesting thing is the tax rate reduction as well as all this infrastructure added, and you still gain in reserves. Now, obviously, we have a lot of capital outlay coming in the years to come, but you're in a good position.
You pointed out something very important. As a developed district now, are we going to find ourselves in a jam here sooner or later with the
Certainly
ability?
not now, but I mean, it depends on how you look at funding all the water projects, this treatment plant, whatever ends up with that. You know, obviously that's gonna have some cost, whether districts just roll that through the wholesale rates or whether or not there's a tax implication. I mean, that's what we need to figure out. Or if it goes in bills.
is there a possibility we can get some government help? Maybe not now, but maybe in the future
For what?
for infrastructure, water infrastructure, the
There's,
pending in the legislature.
Talking state or federal or both?
Probably both. Not now, but maybe in the next couple of years.
yeah, generally at the state level, no, we don't qualify.
Well, right now.
Uh,
But I thought I was reading that the water issues are going on in East Texas, where their groundwater, as in the report, was being absconded to go somewhere else. And that they're saying it's going to be like a statewide issue, and that it may come down to affecting all of Texas, that they have to relook at water and water reclamation and groundwater and everything that it's a part of life. And it's
Sure.
not just that, oh, we're a wealthy district and we don't deserve help. So,
Well, what's going on up there will have nothing to do with state funding related to that.
no, not, I know about that, but it's just that it's starting to get a look at how important water is.
For sure. Sure.
And from the federal, it looks like Dan Crenshaw might give us a couple of million more or something,
For the dam.
the dam.
We have 3.6 already, asking for 5 more, and that looks promising, at least by the end of the year, for sure.
See, so it didn't matter that we're a wealthy district, we're still getting help from the federal government.
Yeah, that we haven't had as much problem with the feds. It's a lot more red tape to go through though, on that side. The state has a lot of water infrastructure funding that we generally don't qualify. That would be ideal if we could.
Yeah, we need to push on our reps more. It's another issue.
Right, well, it's by statute, the requirements for getting that, we just don't qualify for. It's not really convincing anything, it's just we don't qualify for it under the equation.
Okay,
Change the equation.
Well, that's how you've changed it, yeah,
that could be changed and
Yeah.
nothing's set in stone.
indeed.
Very good. Further discussion on this matter? Do we need an action at this time? Or no?
No action tonight for the agenda, for the,
In September, we approved the budget.
Okay. Okay, agenda item 10, Adam, welcome. And Brian, I assume this is your domain?
I'll hand it over to Adam first, and then we'll move it about next steps. Okay.
Just to remind you that the tax rate setting process is a two-step process. So all you're doing today is authorizing publication of your total tax rate. Next month, you'll hold your public hearing, and then you'll ultimately adopt your tax rate and break it out between maintenance, operations, and debt service. Keeping in mind, you want to publish the highest rate you'll consider. You can always come down from that amount next month. You just can't go up without republishing. So if you look on page 16, there should be a letter followed by a few other pages. And so if you look on that letter, the assumption number 1, our 2025 taxable value that's as of January 1 came in at 2.6 billion. That's a 7.61% increase over last year's 2.4 billion. If you flip past the first page, this is your outstanding debt service. If you look at that first line for 2025, I'd say it is the fifth column from the right, total funds available. You have 1.7 million, and then the next column, current debt service, you see 1.6 million, then it drops off. And then, all the way through 2040, it's about 150-ish thousand a year. So we went from needing 4 cents to manage your outstanding debt service to less than a penny. So you're at 3/4 of a penny. And so that's where a lot of the, we were able to shift a few pennies over to your maintenance operations and then ultimately propose a lowering of the overall tax rate. But if you flip to the next page, some of the most important information in these boxes, top box with respect to your maintenance tax rate. Last year, you levied just over 9.4 cents, which generated about 2.2 million. This year, we're recommending 11.7 cents, which would generate just over 3 million. And your parity rate, if you wanted to raise the same number of dollars you did last year, 8.78 cents. And currently, you need about 4 cents to balance your budget. The value of a penny is just over $250,000 in your district. Middle box, last year's average homestead, $528,439, meaning the average tax bill was $711. This year's average homestead, $569,955, which is a 7.86% increase. Based on the proposed tax rate, it would be a $1 increase to the overall tax bill, so just about parity. And then the bottom box, with respect to Senate Bill 2, you are designated as a developed district, reminding you that if that 0.23% were to go above 3.5%, you'd be in a mandatory rollback election scenario, where if that passed, if you look at the last line of the bottom box, your M&O rollback rate is just over 9 cents. You'd be rolled back to that rate if that were successful. But in this current proposed scenario, we're not looking to go beyond the 3.5%, so you wouldn't be subject to a rollback election. So the proposed rate, if you would like to publish, of 12.4965 cents would be a 0.23% increase to the overall tax bill, or $1 effectively for the taxpayers.
And to expand a little bit on what Adam said, as he mentioned, this analysis is based on you being a developed district, and that is the same as what you were designated as last year, which means that you cannot levy a tax that would increase your maintenance revenue by over or your total tax by over 3.5%. If you did, you'd be subject to an automatic rollback election. We're nowhere near that because this is essentially a parity rate recommendation. And we do have an item later on your agenda to formally adopt the resolution declaring your district status for 2025. That's item 1500.
I've said it before and I'll say it again, that Baird has given us exceptional financial advice over the years. Soon to approach 12 years on this board, and you've never got us into a jam yet, and we appreciate it. And your predecessors, and now you've picked up the gauntlet and you're carrying it well.
And I'll just point out the shifting of the pennies. Not only does it help you generate surplus this year, but as we continue on and we're constrained by the 3.5% scenario, rather than just dropping all the debt service pennies this year, we shifted over so that in future years, when we are bit by that 3.5%, you have the ability to decrease your overall tax rate, because you're not really going to get any more benefit from your debt service tax rates until you pay it off.
Mm-hmm. I noticed earlier that we have a bond payment due in September 1st that leaves us with 2 million outstanding. That's terrific.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're in good shape. Thank you.
I forgot the tax. Just try and compare it with page 16.
This
We're
is-
talking about the total tax rate is 0.12, about, I'm rounding up 125. And this is just the 0.117
Mhm.
is part of that, isn't it?
Your total levy right now is 0.13448.
Right, so we're going down.
Correct.
The total levy, we're going down about a penny per hundred. I'm trying to understand what part of that is this, because this is M&O tax rate, maintenance and operating tax
The
rate.
M&O rate is the 11.7465,
Okay,
and then 0.0075 or 3/4 of a penny is what you need for debt service coverage. And just for edification purposes, we utilize 98% collections and Maureen does 100%, so there will be a small discrepancy between the budget and
and
our
actually,
estimate. Right. But you are 99% or better for all previous years.
okay.
And we do need a motion to authorize publication of the notice regarding the district's intent to levy the tax rate. And newspaper journal circulation is required
Yeah.
by law.
This is just a motion with regard to the highest possible.
Correct. Correct. And then you actually adopt.
We have to publish it first.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
I'll make that motion.
we have a motion. We have a second.
Second,
We have a motion to, did you get that, Shelley? Yep, okay. Further discussion on this matter? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
One, 2, 4, 9, 6, 5.
so can we put in our newsletter, we lowered taxes again?
Yes, ma'am. Did I hear a volunteer for the newsletter?
It's me.
Okay. That should have come from Bill.
It
He
should be
never,
Paul.
he never.
Paul
missed-
isn't here,
Yeah,
let Paul
yeah.
do it.
That's what Dale's earlier recommendation was.
Don't let Paul know I did that.
But that would always come from Bill, because he never misses a chance to take a shot. right? Okay, thank you very much. Agenda item 11. SJRA Woodlands Division Report. Malia, I believe you're on deck today.
Yeah, deck for Chris. Chris is a
Yeah.
little bit under the weather, no pun intended today. So thanks for allowing me to talk to you about our monthly operations report, which is on page 19 of your packet. Couple things I wanted to point out is that water uptick for demand in July. No surprise there with our hot July. We did close out a project on page 24. Your water wells 22, 26, and 33 have been rehabilitated and back online. And finally, there's a new project added to your packets, the Woodland Division Disinfection Byproduct Study, which will be going to the SJRA board next week on next Thursday. And we also provided the GRP report in there, and we'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
So the last page.
Maybe this is gonna come later. Perhaps this is for Ed. I mean, was the settlement of the suit, is that
Yeah, how's that going?
$30 million gonna show up in the
Someday.
yeah, someday?
The board,
This isn't a gotcha. If you can't speak about it, I
I can
understand.
give you a little bit.
Okay,
So the board did approve a settlement last Friday morning, and we are working through getting the documents executed and wire transfers and that sort of thing. Now, The number you mentioned is not the number, is not the settlement number.
More?
No.
For
It's less.
pain and agony?
It covers the amount of money they owed us for actual use.
So we're just straight whatever they owe and nothing on top of that.
No penalties, no interest. Yeah.
No penalty. So I guess that was like a compromise. Better than nothing.
It's a settlement.
Okay. And when does the money start rolling in?
They had 10 days from the time the parties agreed in public, so it should be soon.
No penalty or interest.
I can't be ahead of the press release.
Okay. Thank you. Like I said, didn't mean to gotcha.
Mhm.
I know I was on everybody's mind.
It's over.
Any questions for Ms. Good regarding the SJRA report? Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Brings us to agenda item 12. Discuss and or act on the water line renewal plan and analysis completed by HDR engineers. General Manager Peterson.
At the trustee meeting last week, the trustees unanimously approved moving forward with the engineering and easement acquisition for the town center. And then there was some further discussion about the other 6 projects recommended by the experts. There's still a handful of questions I understand from a couple directors that I'm sorting through with them and be working with them and HDR to wrap that up and ultimately then give recommendation to SDRA on how to proceed next month. And then they'll incorporate that into the 10-year project plan so that we can really look at kind of the funding options for those remaining projects.
So that was one of the bones of contention was what goes into the 10-year plan, right? And this will be brought back for us to vote on, or will it just be a trustee issue or?
Ultimately, the MUDs will need to decide how they're going to fund said projects, but we need to give direction to SDRA on how to proceed with the project so that they can kind of place them where they go in the 10-year project plan.
Can't have funding decisions until you know when the funds are going to be needed. Yeah.
A lot of discussion that was had at the trustee meeting was around, the recommendations from the engineering firm indicate that 7 projects would be within the 10-year project plan. Well, I think some read that to mean that all 7 would need to be completed in the 10-year project plan, which that wouldn't make any sense.
No.
Because they're 5-year projects. And so you'd have to start all 7 by the 5th year to be done in the 10th year. So, and the ramp up on, effect to the customer would not be, I don't think, palatable. So I think you're looking more along the lines of, every 15 to 18 months, kind of do the next one, start the next one, construction on the next one, start.
Some begin to roll off.
So you have engineering, for town center, right? So when you go for bonds to do the construction of that project, you likely would add in engineering for project 2. And then while construction is going on, you're designing project 2, you then do a bond for project 3 and engineering or project 2 and engineering for project and kind of go through some cadence of that nature. I mean, I don't know what it'll look like, but something like that would make sense. And then it's a little bit more smoother of a curve, if you will, ramp up for funding options.
So even though unfortunately Brian stepped out, maybe from your legal experience and that's rusty, you need to scratch that off. Okay. Or maybe, will we require bond elections if we're going to do this with bonds?
Well, SJ would sell the bonds. The MUDs would need to decide how they're going to fund it. Now, currently, there's no MUD that has cash, even as healthy as, your budget looks. You wouldn't have cash to get too far down the road, all this. Although you are healthy enough, you could fund, because keep in mind, these projects are 15 or 20 million each. It's not your share. Your share's, obviously
Based on
much
CUEs?
correct. And so, we can also kind of go through that per MUD once we have it on the 10-year project plan we'll be able to kind of prorate that out to see what each MUD's share is. And there may be a possibility that, you know, some of the MUDs, including yourself, can get a little bit further down the road with cash. It kind of depends on the magnitude and the health of your budget and cash reserves. And I think there's a possibility of that.
Okay.
Once there's a clear direction on what projects we'll fund and when, we'll work with SJRA staff like we did maybe 2 years ago, and we'll prepare kind of an impact to the average bill, and we'll bring it to the boards for your viewing so that you can see long-term what that impact's going to be
Yeah,
if you go that route.
March of 23, I think we did that presentation where we kind of looked at 4 different funding options: fees, water bills, mud bonds, and rollback. And at that time, the 2 that kind of rose to the top were water bill and rollback, with rollback definitely being the cheaper option to the customers. But it requires, you know, an election. So I think we really can't make any of those determinations until we know where those projects sit on the 10-year
We'll
plan.
be aware of them though, the potential, the options perhaps, and start to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably won't focus on maybe the 2 other options that we looked at before. We'll probably just look at those 2 because we know those were the 2 better options. And either one or the other, or some combination maybe of the 2 is likely what will end up, just depending on what, you know, what the magnitude is that we're dealing with. We still don't have any direction from on the treatment plant. So when that gets completed, that'll need to be included into the project plan as well, because that'll have an additional impact one way or the other, you know, on the customers. Good. So, but it's really integral to and crucial to get those projects on the project plan. So that's the roadmap. I mean, that's what we have to go by to be able to see how we're going to do it, how we're going to fund it, what the effect is. So we've got to get that squared away first. That's step 1. But we're getting.
So that's going to go back, and it's on the trustee agenda.
I'm going to keep it on all.
Are we going to come back here and then either confirm or correct the decision that okay. Okay, so we can expect to see that next month.
Yes.
Thank you. Questions for General Manager Peterson? Bill? Okay. Thank you, sir. Agenda item 13, also General Manager Peterson.
Okay, so y'all attended the Bear Branch Dam presentation a few weeks ago. That went pretty well. Towards the end of that meeting, there was some questions around possibly adding some additional partners. As you know, you're one of the 5 partners in the maintenance of the dam facility. And there was a question raised as to should there be other partners maybe. You're in it for maintenance because you send water to that watershed. The others don't. And that was, I think, why it was identified back in the 90s that the maintenance, you know, proraters were such. But as identified in that 5 MUDs meeting, I guess we'll call it, there was some significant impact to downstream of the watershed to the other MUDs. And so I put it on all the agendas just to bring the topic up with the other MUDs. So far, 2 of the other 5 members have shown interest in seeing what the numbers would look like and showing interest in participating.
Right, well,
So
they should probably consider it just like the AC water lines that don't run through our mud that are breaking up at the town center. But we're responsible for, as all MUDs have to help with the water lines, even though it's not our water line.
well, it is because it's tied to your system. It
Right,
can't work independently, whereas the
right.
ditch
Well, this
system can.
dam will impact all the woodlands too.
Not all.
That cascading effect that Schneivel said, I think that caught a lot of people's attention.
No doubt, no doubt, which even that, and I think that is that's pretty telling for sure. And I think that's what woke some folks up for sure, in terms of the importance of getting involved. But even that map doesn't affect all the muds. So.
Fair enough. Pesky hydraulics getting away. Right?
But so far, so good. I think there's 3 more tomorrow. 3 of the, muds that are not already in the group, that will kind of hear this message. And I think the only thing that maybe hasn't really been updated is just some of the funding. And I know that that we were successful in getting the project put in the federal budget. And so it's just a matter of the feds approving that budget. As we understand it, there doesn't appear to be any risk that it would be pulled. It's just a matter of when they approve.
And the guys from Cornerstone said late in the year, November,
Correct.
maybe.
That's the anticipation. If it happens under that timing, then we would hopefully have funds in the spring from the additional 5. So now we're all really talking about is the delta of about 4.8 million. And that's what the other participants that have looked at this are contemplating.
Am I reading somewhere in the report that the Army Corps of Engineers might be helping us with this? Or am I misreading that?
The Army Corps is involved in this, yes,
Okay.
for sure.
The federal funds are processed through the
Army Corps of Engineers. Okay, I didn't understand how it worked
So
together.
they disperse it and they make sure that it meets their standards.
You may recall that there was $3.6 million for an earlier phase that
Initially,
were
yes.
already achieved, and then there's an administrative fee that's taken from that. And you as a MUD have already contributed to the deficit, to the difference. For
Yeah,
preliminary engineering.
They take about 10% off the top for their management.
The Army Corps of Engineers, they just soak the taxpayers even more. Okay, all right.
3.6 goes to 3.2 and 5 goes to 4.5.
Those fancy uniforms.
Where are you getting paid?
I think those uniforms for all that braiding and all that. Come on, man.
Their uniforms?
Yeah. I believe that we need a motion to authorize participation. Is that accurate?
No,
No.
it just,
There is no action
No
on it.
action there.
Okay.
The other MUDs that aren't involved already have made motions. So.
Okay, but we don't, because we're in for a dime, in for a dollar, right? Okay. Very good. Any questions regarding this matter? Thank you. Agenda item 14, since you're doing so well on the previous 2, why don't you finish up with the number 14, General Manager Peterson?
Sure. An opportunity came to my attention probably a month ago, a few weeks ago, and we've quickly kind of run it down a little bit. Ed was integral in facilitating a meeting with a consultant that specializes in many of the different Army Corps of Engineers funding options. That looked, and we heard that kind of that spiel, and then we set up a meeting with the Corps of Engineers to identify what, further investigate whether or not that was a viable program, and met with them, explained the project to them, explained the benefits, kind of what we're trying to get after. There's certainly an application process and a rating and some of the similar things that we see on the state level for many of the funding things that we go after. But the way this would work is they would look at it, do an initial look, they being the Corps of Engineers, would do an initial look at the project, probably reviewing a lot of the LJA analysis that LJA has already done, identify preliminarily if they feel like it should go to their next level. And the next level would be for them to request funds from the Fed for them to, basically what happens is the Fed gives them 10 grand to then do their own analysis of the project, rank it, review it, the whole works, and identify whether or not it's a good project to partner with the Corps of Engineers on. If it gets to that point, which we understand that's about a 90-day process. If it gets to that point and it's favorable, then they would have actually make recommendation to partner on the project with the governmental entity, in this case us, and we could potentially get the entire deficit or delta, which is the 10 million that we're looking for at this point. It would likely come with a match, around 60% match, which the 11.3 million that we have is like 57%. So we're pretty much right there as far as any match might go. So I just felt like it may get deemed that it didn't score well enough, and but I think the risk here is time, not necessarily money, for them to do their own due diligence and let us know if it's a viable partnerable project for them.
That's awesome.
So I was encouraged by it.
Would you make that presentation, or would this is this consultant retained that led you to this potential source?
At this point, we really would be working directly with the Corps. There's an initial application, and then the Corps recommended that as part of the application that we provide or acquire some letters of support from local legislators. So starting with the Fed level, so Crenshaw, likely we'd ask for support, and then I asked if it helps to have state and local support, and so they said sure. They want to know, I think, ultimately that the project is wanted by the community, number one, and then it provides a benefit to the community. So
Check those boxes.
whether or not we score high enough, I don't know. I mean, but I think it's worth going after. So
Is that more at the federal, at the DC level, or is it Galveston office?
well, we met with the Galveston office folks on our call. Anything I missed there?
Just that, so once the application is submitted, it would go up to the feds for scoring ultimately. And that size of project would probably be designed by one of their consultants instead of us. The projects that we're getting through Crenshaw, or the funding we're getting through Crenshaw, allows us to manage them locally. But once you get to a certain dollar level, they're going to want to manage it.
They're paying
They
for it.
manage it. Okay, they wouldn't design it.
They
Threw me. I thought
hire a consultant.
LJA is already waist deep in that thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's, the higher up you get in funding of different governmental entities, agencies, the more red tape and more trade-offs you have. So that's certainly something. But I mean, my thought is if we can bridge the gap on the funding, then we'll let them go.
We were having a hard time coming up with that extra money from our local participants.
And if you recall that, where we were, or still are at the moment, is going out to a number of different local partners and asking one more time. And that's basically where we've been the last 30 days, 45 days. So when this came up, I kind of put that on hold and said, hey, let's see if this
Still gonna need some help on the local match.
possibly.
Good, thank you very much. Any questions, further questions? Okay, agenda item 15. There's a couple of bills to pay here on 15 and 16, pages 45 through 61.
Estimate number 2 and 3 on the ditch project that you've seen over the last few months. That's completed, and we may have one pay estimate left, but essentially that's project's completed, and project looks real good. As you recall, you're a 10% share project of that, or participant of that. So that's item number 15. You have a 10% share of those two numbers there.
Of these two numbers, the 27,000 and 52,000?
Correct.
Okay.
So I'll need motion to approve those two pay estimates.
Wanna make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion for Matt McAleer.
I'll second.
And Director Freeman. Okay, We have motion for approved payment, further and a second motion. Is there any further discussion on this matter?
One item, point of clarification that pay estimate number 4 is in fact the final pay estimate. I just
Oh,
caught that.
it's not an estimate, it's the actual, you're saying.
Okay.
Well, no, well, all pay requests by the contractor are called pay estimates. It's just, it's their request of being paid for the work they've done. And the engineer confirms, yep, you did that. I'm willing to pay you that much. And so you do those in increments. We just call them pay estimates. When you get to the final one and you have the final inspection and you've made sure everything was done properly, you project close and you do a pay estimate number such and such and final. In your agenda, the word final isn't written there, so I was just putting clarification. I caught looking at page 49 that it is in fact the final.
Okay.
That was my only,
So we can update that for the notes here.
correct.
And Adam also noticed that the dollar amount on the agenda, it should be 53 as opposed to 52.
Oh, you're good point.
Oh, it's
53043.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for that.
That's an addition. Yeah, it does say on page 49, final though.
Yeah, it does,
It does.
Eric.
Practicing.
51, actually, also.
So that raises your by $100.
Oh, that's the other, that's so do we need
$1,000.
the,
I'd say clarification, point, pay estimate number 4 and final in the amount of 53043. And that should cover us on the,
53043, okay.
Page 49.
Fix that.
So that is the motion and that is the second, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Further discussion on this matter? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, motion passes. Thank you. Okay, and then that brings us to agenda item 16.
similar, this is this is wastewater, sanitary sewer rehabilitation. As you recall, evaluation was done a few years ago. It was broken up into 3 phases. We started construction of this several months ago. So now we're starting to see those pay estimates come in. This is pay estimate number 1. You're one of 9 participants, 9 month participants in this project. And it just so happens part of the work that they've done in that first month and a half is some MUD 60 stuff. So you have about an $8,000 share of that estimate payout number 1.
It's around
It's a little
8,000.
confusing. The
Yeah, it's on
page,
page 50.
the page break got off. It's on page 58, kind of without a header. It's those 2 numbers on the, in the
it's
right
number
columns.
What
Yeah,
page again?
58.
58, it's number 4 on the.
They've done some 10-inch PVC line replacement. But as you can see, you have a lot more and all the MUDs have a lot more work. They've just started this project, so, and they're continuing on.
Okay.
Eric's note on 15, it is 52,043.
It's back to 52 and number 15.
Yeah, they're number one.
What's wrong with their payout?
Yeah.
Yeah, the app's correct, the cover letter reflects 53, so it's 52,000.
It's actually 52, so never mind. Go back to where it was, but Stet.
To take back my financial recommendation, comments. You're entitled to one, Adam. 1 in 12 years.
Oh, yeah, that's 520.
Well, he was the engineer, those couple pages were.
Thank you.
Okay. We have that, and now this is for $8,000, correct?
Yeah, I mean, your share.
For MUD
Yeah, our
60.
share, yeah. Number 1.
So
Like
we
you
have
said,
to
just
approve
beginning.
Yeah,
this.
yes, ma'am, we do. So motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Motion to approve, second? I'll second, I'll get on the map. We have a motion and a second, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain, motion passes. Um, Brian Yates, JD Esquire.
Yes, sir. Not much to report today. Our traveling vacation legislators are, I think, on their way back home. So we'll see if the special session gets back underway.
Some vacation.
Yeah.
Did it start yesterday? Was
Yeah,
that
they
right?
did the second one.
And they gavelled out after 25 minutes?
Yeah, but once we have.
Had a quorum.
Can I get
Yeah,
their pay and work 25 minutes?
Well, technically you do. They
Yeah,
get the
their
same
pay
per
is-
diems
yeah,
as
they're-
directors, believe it or not.
Yeah,
So-
but I
in the
worked
same
the
cap?
hour. That's,
And the same cap,
Exactly.
the same cap,
They do.
same cap.
I can think of different places to go on vacation.
Well, yeah.
well, California may not be too bad. But
Oh, I don't know about that.
depends where.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be starting back up, the, what was it, 18 items that the governor wanted to address. Obviously, the district was one of those, but see where the special session takes us from.
I have a question that was in the Woodlands Impact, and I don't know if this is old news, but it talked about Senate Bill 6 and House Joint Resolution 7. I don't know of anything. Senate Bill 6 tightens regulations on large electric consumers such as data centers and, but that's nothing to do with us unless it's, but the House Joint Resolution 7, if approved by voters, would send $1 billion annually in sales and use tax revenue to the Texas Water Fund, a state account created in 2023 to help finance water projects. But yet, our general manager says we never qualify for anything on the water projects.
I mean, I think that's to be seen on this. This is a new program, so it's to be seen, how that shakes out. We've got a summary of that. House Joint Resolution, there's an accompanying Senate bill, I think it's Senate Bill 7 also, that's addressed in our legislative summary from this session. So we've got that on the Google Drive as well. For you to take a
Yeah, I
look
didn't
at.
know if you could comment any more than what you've just commented on, the water part.
Well, the election's in November, so the
Okay.
first thing is, the voters have to approve a constitutional amendment to allow for this, this new funding mechanism to go into effect. And then from there, then we'll see what materializes in terms of eligibility and projects and what have you. But the first step is, the first step was the legislation that authorized calling the election. And so the election for the constitutional amendment is at the uniform November election date. And then we'll see how that goes. And if that's approved, step 2, step 3 will be implementation. So.
Just if we talk to the voters, our voters, what do we tell them? I mean, normally we'd say, yes, please support this, but then they'll say, well, are we getting anything back out of this?
Well, I mean.
If it
Yeah.
gets approved
For the Woodlands, I mean,
for the Woodlands.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think it's too early to say. Is it good for the state?
Is it good for the state? Is it good for the Woodlands too?
Well, I mean, I think it's good for Montgomery County. It's good for, I mean, look,
Yeah.
I can't give you legal advice. I'm kind of outside
Can't give us
the
legal-
lane of that. I'm saying, I mean, I think overall for the state, it's a good program. I can't tell people how to vote.
Right.
It's really, the kind of the role I should be playing as your district attorney. But I think from the water industry perspective, it is a good plan and a good program and an innovative way to be able to help fund it without raising, additional taxes or having a new,
No, just part of our sales tax perhaps goes to that.
that's, yes, part of the state's 6.25% sales tax revenue will go to that. Because, the state has, overall, you can go up to 8.25%, 6.25% goes to the state, 2% can go to various local taxing jurisdictions. So this would be out of state.
Right, and they already have a surplus, so.
By now they do.
I mean, because I was at a presentation this morning on this very topic. There has to be a certain amount in the rainy day fund before this money can come over to the Water Development Board.
Okay.
And so I think that threshold is like 43.8 billion. And then once they reach that threshold, then the money can start coming to the Water Development Board. The anticipation is those funds wouldn't start coming to the Water Development Board before 2028. The advantage to this money is it's for new supplies. And so you think about long-term for Montgomery County, Lake Conroe isn't enough water. The groundwater is not enough water to serve the population that's coming to Montgomery County. So we are going, SGRA and other entities are going to have to come up with a new source, and it's going to cost money. And this is where some of those funds might come from to help acquire those sources. So it does help the state. It does help the region. It's not really designated to come to an entity like the Woodlands Water Agency. It's set up more for river authorities to create new water supplies.
Oh, tell them I vote for trying to get water from the Gulf of America. So
Well, and
desalinization,
it does go
just
to desalination and brackish water.
right, because it's there. It's like our Saudi Arabia of water is right there next to us.
Does Catahoula qualify as a new source?
It would if you pull it from the brackish area instead of the clean area.
Potentially Livingston.
You could, if they have excess water or uncommitted water.
There's one that is not very palatable. It's kind of gross in a sense. But Singapore uses a method. They're always short of water in Singapore. As a matter of fact, when they separated from Malaysia, they had nothing, and it almost caused the country to collapse. So they work on getting reservoirs and freshwater sources. But they're at sea level, so there's no mountains or anything. So what they have done is for industrial purposes, not for human consumption, is they recycle sewage.
Mhm.
And it ends up being so pure that they use it in the chip manufacturing, which is a step higher than human consumption. They even make a beer out of it just for actually, they slip the beer in the beer competitions, and it's won some awards for
Yeah, they got
Pilsner.
alcohol in it to
Yeah.
sterilize it.
But what it did was it took a problem, but I don't know what the costs are. I've done some research on this and the fact of the technology, but I don't know if it's cost competitive to these other things that you mentioned. So I just want to bring it up.
I believe that Wichita Falls does a good deal of that too.
Really?
So El Paso.
El Paso is using reclaimed water.
At TWA last year.
Really? Oh, that's fantastic.
It's
It's
actually.
So there are some people trying it.
It's
established technology.
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting news that's being used here in the state.
I think El Paso's system is about 10 years old, and then
Yeah.
Wichita Falls used it during the drought because their reservoirs went dry.
Yeah. Well, I saw a picture the other day of the Rio Grande in New Mexico, and it was dry. There was nothing.
New districts that are having new wastewater treatment plants constructed. It's cheaper to do it versus retrofitting older ones. Have it set up and be able to use treated wastewater for irrigation purposes.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
So
Yeah.
we are definitely seeing that more in development.
Just from Lake Woodlands right now.
So the encouragement is vote yes on joint resolution.
So that's what we should encourage our voters to approve, because they're going to say another bond, another tax. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Agenda item 18. Consider,
Approval on that. Yeah, I probably should have had that under the consent. Agenda.
yeah, we really don't have to hold our breath collectively and stamp our feet.
This is consent agenda material.
Yeah. Can we have a motion to adopt the resolution concerning our developed district status for the year 2025? I'll make that motion.
I'll
Second. Okay. Further discussion on that matter? Anyone? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, abstain, motion passes. All righty. The general manager's report.
Okay, we pretty much covered everything I had. Just wanted to remind everyone of the Star Groundwater Conservation District meetings September 17th and 18th for GMA 14 and for the MUD informational meeting on the 18th. Give an update on the SFDB audit for wastewater treatment plant number 1. We are focusing heavy on that over the next 30 days or so. So we'll hopefully have some movement on that that you can look at here very soon, next month or so. Did want to mention that I will be speaking at the township meeting on Thursday. An agenda item to talk about emergency access through the woodlands during storms, I think as a result of the Fredericksburg or the Kerrville stuff, flooding. And so that was put on there. They've asked SJA and us to just talk about ingress, egress across the woodlands as it relates to Bear Panther specifically. So
Would Research Forest also be in there?
that's it. That's what I'm talking
Oh, how about the dam?
about. I think,
We're talking about the Spring Creek reservoirs.
oh,
There was no mention to talk about Bear Branch Dam.
yeah, it's
Is it applicable? It's certainly topical.
I could probably touch on it a little bit. The way that the agenda item was written is very focused on emergency access due to flooding. It's kind of how it's written. So certainly the dam could play a part in that discussion. Still working on how I'm going to sort through that, but I'll probably bring it up.
Anything else?
You will, before I send it to John, just wanted to point out, SJA is celebrating their 50th anniversary for the Woodlands Division. And in doing so, they did some interviews with a handful of folks. And so you'll be seeing some videos of Jim Stinson and I, who were interviewed for part of that. And I think they're kind of every day they're sending out a kind of a new little snippet video, and they're about 30 seconds to a minute long, just talking about our relationship with SJA and importance of infrastructure. So you'll see that.
It's amazing on personnel. Josh has been here 9 years now, and Tori Llewellyn 5. Time flies, huh?
Indeed. With that, John will finish us out.
Good afternoon. Page 80 starts your communications report. Following up on what Eric noted about the SJA anniversary video series, do encourage you to check that out. You can go to their YouTube page or their social media pages. We're also sharing that, so you can find it on our social media feeds. Remember to like us while you're there. Infrastructure renewal communications, that continues to progress nicely. I'm confident that by the time we meet next, we'll have a GIS-based interactive map uploaded to that website where you can zero in on specific projects and get more detailed information, especially what's in your local area. The website got about 1,800 unique visitors last month alone, and so that's trending upward. So good traffic there. And I also anticipate by the time we meet again, we'll have a renewal video for you to review. I don't know if we'll do it in the meeting, but it should be available for then. And so that is on an introduction to infrastructure renewal, featuring folks like Eric and others speaking on the importance of renewal to our community. That Bear Branch Dam presentation by Schnabel is on the YouTube channel as well, if you want to review that, or you are there and watch it on your phone if you like. If you want to go back through there, you got some current marketing materials in the next couple pages. And then our fall in-person outreach calendar is starting to fill out. Got some events there on page 83. I'll be adding to those for sure. And most immediately, the farmers market, I'll be out there this Saturday. So stop by and say hi if you're out there shopping.
I haven't been to Grogan's Mill in a few months, but if they're revitalizing, are they still going to have the farmers market in the future? There? Is
That's
it
my
still-
understanding. Mhm.
Okay, they'll still find room for them.
Yeah, absolutely. All that is happening on the other side of the parking lot. The farmer's market is on the north side. And so, yeah, I think that's solid. All right, thank you.
Good job, John. Thank you. Derek, did you have anything to add from the trustees report that you didn't say earlier?
No, the high point was the town center. Had a lot of discussion on the remainder of the projects.
Very comprehensive report. It's good if you have any questions. Okay, that, no need to go to 21 or 22. So that brings us to discuss matters for placement on future agenda. Dale, you have anything that comes to mind? Donna?
No, I
Don't be
I
shy.
think that
Up in between now and then,
Well,
Eric and I are
Budget
working
next
on
year, next
budget, yeah. That'll be,
any,
that's a given.
because we still have the beer branch, they might have another update on that next month. Or do you think so? Anything new might happen?
On the dam,
Yeah,
for sure. And that brings up a point on the budget. The potential expenses related to the outcome of this are not currently in this year's budget. So, you know, if there's, and I don't recall that, I think they needed the additional monies by 2027. So that maybe they want, I guess I was thinking they might be added, but they wouldn't be needed. But we would likely bring the revised pro ratas for the dam. Or it, depending on what other districts are interested. So you'll see that. But I think that's 2027 is what Brett said.
That would be construction. We would need engineering money before then.
Right.
And that's what the 450,000 is in the email.
Anything more? That meeting is adjourned. Thank you.